I'm here to talk to you today about ABC questioning. So what is it and what purpose does it serve? So what is ABC? So it's a questioning strategy. Why should you use it? It promotes more in-depth responses to questions, encourages alternative viewpoints, it allows students to develop their ideas in a more structured and disciplined fashion. It also inspires a respectful, conscientious and listening atmosphere, and it increases the level of inclusivity and engagement within the classroom. The first thing you need to think about before using ABC is, what is your purpose? What do you want to gain from using this strategy? For me, I use it to access prior knowledge, to assess prior knowledge and to encourage active listeners and engagement within the classroom. So here in front of you are the main principles of ABC. So you pose a question, you then select a student to respond, you then ask another student to build upon A's response, and then you ask a third student to challenge B's point of view. In front of you here are structured responses. So you must use structured responses until your students are comfortable with this approach. So you must guide them and encourage them to build and challenge their own thinking. They can use these sentence stems in many ways. So you could, create a discussion or a debate within class. You could use them for think, pair and share, and you could use them for those big questions. Here I have put together an example of how I use it in a lesson for my big questions. So you'll see an example of the type of question I may pose to the class. So prior to this, I have planned my questions and the students that I wish to respond. Okay, so I select students from all flight paths. So low ability I would normally use for my A, middle for B, higher for C. So by selecting students in advance, I am reinforcing active listeners. So each student in the room knows there is a chance that they could be next. So I'll just run through it with you. So I might ask, who are ignorance and want? I would then pick a student A. They would come back with a response, they're the boy and girl at the end of stage 3. That's obviously not a detailed response. So I would then select student B, who is my middle student. Can you build upon A's response? What do they represent? They hopefully will then come back with, I agree with A, they are the wretched children. However, I also think that they represent Dickens' view of the poor. So you can see there that my probing question has allowed them to think deeply, okay? So it's still not quite as deep as I want. So I then pick student C, which is normally my higher ability student. And I've asked them to challenge B's response. What is their purpose? What does Dickens introduce them? Why does he introduce them to us? So I'm still probing them, okay? And then I get the result that I want. So I think we also need to consider how ignorance and want are allegorical characters. They are just the words ignorance and want and not real characters. They represent society's view of the poor and symbolise Scrooge's own ignorance and want. So by using probing questions, this should help, hopefully, to eliminate those I don't know responses. You might want to think about embedding some wait time. This example in front of you is something that I've been doing my year 10s recently, but they are used to the way that I question them. So obviously go back to the structured slide where you can use it for discussions first. Get them used to how you want them to respond. So I hope that this strategy has helped you in some way and that you can use it in your own practice. Thank you for listening.